Hello everyone, I'm Richard Gon of Work to Live podcast version. Did I pronounce hello everyone correctly? Anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, this time what I'm going to talk about is handjob from behind arouses masochistic boys, which is about what I'd like to talk about. I'd like to talk about some stories, and I'd like to tell you is why handjobs from behind arouse masochistic men or boys, and maybe you can understand senses. You can understand by your own intuition, and you can understand you can understand the reason by using your own, for example, intuitions and your own senses. But actually, that is it's possible to explain its reason logically. And logically speaking, human beings have afraid of darkness, which is an instinct as a human. All human beings have afraid of darkness because human in the darkness human beings can't see objects, and in the darkness human beings can't watch or can't recognize enemies, for example, enemies approaching themselves, which is why human beings have developed fire, and human beings acquired how to use fires, which is how the civilization has begun. One of the kick starts is it's the use of fire, which is how human societies have developed, and which is by which human beings have an essential fear against the darkness, and this is the point. Darkness means what you can't see. Darkness means what you can't see, which means if you're in your room in the late night, whether the room has windows or not, but if you turn off the light, for example, late at night, you can see the darkness, which means unless you are eyesight challenged or eyesight, unless you are handicapped in terms of eyesight, you can see something by your own eyes, which means if you are in your room and I don't know whether the room has windows or not, but if you are in your room late at night and you turn off the light in the room, and there is nothing you can see because you are in the darkness. So concerning which when you are in the darkness, you can't see anything, and maybe there must be something dangerous approaching to you. So of course, if that room is your own room, maybe there's nothing dangerous. So in which sense, so danger approaching to you is a kind of ridiculous idea when turning off the light late at night in your own room. But in the ancient time, that is really a scary stuff or horrible stuff, which is why people have or human beings have afraid of what you can't see. So which is why handjobs from behind means if you're masochistic men or if you're masochistic boys, you get handjobs from when you get handjobs from behind, your penises are jacked by somebody you can't see, which is really a fearful or scary situation to you, which means what the situation I'm talking about is that the hypothetical situation I'm talking about is that you are masochistic boys or masochistic men, and in which case you get handjobs, which means your penises are being jacked by somebody else behind you, which is scary because you can't see somebody behind you. So like which, such a situation arouses such a fearful or such a scary or such a horrible situation arouses masochistic men and masochistic boys. So considering which, for example, if you are women or if you are girls who whose partners are, for example, masochistic men or masochistic boyfriends, whatever, whoever partners you have, anyway, whoever partners you have, if you have some close contact with, for example, masochistic men or masochistic slaves, for example, if you are dominatrixes, or if you are dominatrix, or if you are woman, or if you are lady or girl having some masochistic male slaves, having masochistic male slaves or masochistic boy slaves is fine in this case. So if you are women or if you are ladies or if you are girls having, for example, masochistic slave boys, and it's possible to arouse those slaves by jacking their dicks, or by jacking. It's possible to arouse or excite those slaves by jacking their penises from their behind, like which, people have essential fear against the darkness, or which means, people have essential or instinctive fear against what people can't see or what they can't see, which is why, such a situation like, handjobs done by somebody those boys and those men can't see arouses those men and those boys themselves, which is why, if you are worried about whether it's possible to arouse, or whether it's possible to delight, or whether it's possible to please masochistic men or masochistic boys, and in the case where you are ladies or girls, it's possible to easily arouse those masochistic men and boys by doing handjob from behind, which is what I'd like to tell you. And at last, let me correct a mistake. And I didn't realize, but I was pronouncing, or I was saying I have afraid of, but that is mistake. I said stuff. I said like people have afraid of darkness from the ancient time, or ancient people have afraid of darkness, or I was saying stuff like that, but actually, that is, maybe I think most of you have already understood that, that is not correct in terms of English language, or what I have just said is not correct in terms of the grammar of English language. So correct stuff I should have said is people have been afraid of darkness, or ancient people have been afraid of darkness, which is what I should have spoken out minutes before. So please make sure this point. So minutes before I said many grammatical mistakes. Or I mistakenly said I have afraid of. I have been afraid of darkness, and people have afraid of darkness in the ancient time, and people have. So I mistake what I said as a mistake is people have afraid of darkness, which is a mistake, and I mistakenly said I have mistakenly said people have afraid of darkness from the ancient time, or ancient people have afraid of darkness, which is what I said mistakenly minutes before. But the correct expression is people have been afraid of darkness, and from the ancient time, and ancient people have been afraid of darkness, which are the correct expression of have been afraid of. And of course, I have been afraid of darkness, and I'm afraid of darkness. Please make sure this point before the ending of this episode. That's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.